What is up, everybody? This is Lyle, No Hippie Trucking and Transportation. I'm coming at you from an off-brand truck stop. I think it's a Chevron on I-5 exit 72 in Napperville, Washington, right across the street from the Loves. I was planning on going over there, and I looked, and it's like 11 a.m. in the morning. Looked like it was already getting packed, but I saw this little off-brand place over here. So this is my speed, so here's where I'm at. I think it's a Shell, but today I'm coming at you with the Afro like the fourth Beetle. Let me start puffing this out a little bit. Some of you guys, youngins, may not know anything about the Beatles, but there was a fourth Beatle, or he was considered the fourth Beatle, black dude by the name of Billy Preston. And that's what my Afro is coming at you from today, is kind of that Billy Preston mode. One of the songs that might have made him famous would have been "Nothing from nothing leaves nothing. You gotta have something if you want to be with me. Nothing from nothing." Anyway, that's what this Afro is coming at you like. Not quite as big yet, but anyway, that's another famous Afro right there. This video was supposed to be about 7 places in the country that have way worse traffic than Atlanta. I am so tired of hearing people talk about Atlanta, the traffic. I can think of 7 places easy, but we're not going to do that. I got an email from somebody last night saying that they were considering quitting the trucking industry because they can't back up, and it's become a real problem for them. So having to tailor the drive schedule around when he can actually park at a truck stop, and then shippers and stuff like that are becoming a problem. So I wanted to kind of talk about that. First of all, I'm going to say, don't quit and don't ever give up over that. I think one of the more famous, not famous, but one of the people out there on YouTube that, well, famously put out their backing struggles. If you followed one of my drivers, Fairy Wire Trucker, she took down a lot of her original videos, but in those original videos, a lot of those were based on her issues backing. And what she did, and it's one thing that I've always had my students go to, or trainees, whatever you want to call them, go to, is a YouTube channel called My Trucking Skills. And that's just to give kind of basic fundamentals on how to kind of approach backing and things like that. But I think that's a channel that she watched and then practiced and everything like that. And now she's a backing pro. So, you know, I even look back to the time when I first upgraded. Now, keep in mind, I spent 7 months on my trainer's truck voluntarily. But even once I got off my trainer's truck, backing still was an issue. And even to this day, I could talk about a time that I was in Louisville, Kentucky. Not even a hard spot. It was a spot that was a little darkly lit. I was at I think it was a Kroger. And I was pure amateur mode. So sometimes you're just going to have those problems backing. But in general, in regards to backing a truck, it kind of works out the same way as to how I learned how to speak Japanese. You know, I didn't intend to learn Japanese, but when I was little, they used to have those kung fu flicks on TV, and they'd have the subtitles, and, you know, for a while I didn't know what they were saying, but after about 3-4 years, all that gibberish started making sense to me, so now I'm fluent in Japanese, all because of that. I'm just joking about that, but it does work similar to that. One day, backing is gonna click. So, you know, I look back to when I went out on my own, and, you know, it wasn't like severe backing issues I was having, but just some place, like I didn't have the fundamentals of backing down. Like I didn't look at it like scientifically. You know, like if trailers are close together, I want to have my tandems to the rear so I don't have as much swing. If there's not enough room up front, then maybe the tandems to the not that I'm going to be switching tandems, but I have to think about that when I'm going into a backing situation. And there have been times when I've arrived at a shipper receiver and I've been like, for example, I remember I was talking to a Peruvian trucker about a place that I delivered to in Georgia called Colorado Beef. And I think to get my loads scaled or whatever, I had to be like in the 11th hole. I got in there and I was like, this isn't going to work. So at the receiver, I ended up having to slide my tandems to the rear. Actually, I think I did slide them twice because I had too much swing. I had to slide my tandems to the front, to get my trailer angled as sharp as I needed to get it angled. Then once I kind of had it in the spot, since I had so much swing going to the right-hand side, I ended up having to move my tandems to the rear so I wouldn't have to worry about that trailer on the other side. But it's just thinking about backing that detailed, and that comes with time. So there's definitely not a reason to quit over not being able to back. At some point, it's just like riding a bike. You're gonna get it, and once you get it, you got it. But then, every now and then you're gonna hit that place where, let's talk about my common issues in backing. One could be where self-inflicted. So I see a spot that I want to back into, and I'm about ready to get set up for it, and maybe I see another spot. So then I go to that spot, but then my backup or my setup kind of got a little messed up. So now once the setup's back messed up, then that throws everything off. A lot of times when I'm tired, especially in dark places, I forget the name in Georgia. Yeah, it's a Flying J. Rasica, Georgia. That place is pitch black at night, and a lot of times if I'm pulling into a truck stop and it's dark and I'm kind of not in a hurry, but I'm just like done with driving and everything, I may not notice the truck that I'm supposed to park next to. So then I might start my setup forgetting where the spot is that I'm supposed to be pulling into, or what truck I'm supposed to be kind of hugging, I guess, for lack of a better word. And then I kind of get messed up there. The biggest problem I have backing is when there's no trucks around. If it's just like an empty bunch of docks and they say go into like dock 47 and there's nothing on 42, or not 42, there's nothing in 46 and nothing in 48, so there's nothing for me to reference. That is probably the hardest back for me, is when there's nothing around. And I'm gonna take that back because I just had to think about another place I just went to. A place had no lines, and I kept backing into this dock, and I kept coming in at an angle, and I wouldn't know that I was at an angle till I got out and looked at it. So finally I ended up having to set a load lock on the side of the truck so I would know what straight is. But before you give up, give yourself a good at least 6 months out on the road before you give up, because usually in 6 months you're going to at least kind of understand the concepts a little bit better than that. And don't be afraid to ask somebody, especially if you're backing in next to them. If you want somebody to really help you out backing, try to back between two trucks and ask either one of them, and I'm sure they'll get out and do everything they can to keep you from hitting their shit. So, and that is a cautionary tale. I always hear about people that, come to Prime or CR England or Swift or whatever, and then they're like, well, I'm just, like, I think somebody had said that they were going to quit, like, soon after training and go local. Boy, if you do not have your backing skills down and you want to go local where you're hitting like 3, 4, 5 docks a day, that could be a problem right there. Not that it can't be overcome, but anyway, everybody's had backing issues. Don't think that you're exclusive to this. You just gotta quiet down the noise in your head. You know, I'm going to end this here in a second, but one of the biggest issues I used to have was whether it was at a shipper, receiver, or truck stop. Traffic around me used to throw me off a little bit, and I was just finally like, you know what, fuck it, I'm not going to worry about anything, and I'm just going to concentrate on back, and I'm not going to worry if anybody's trying to get by me, any of that kind of stuff. We're just going to get it in. And a side note, one of the worst places I've ever had as far as that went was the Loves in, I would have to forget this now. What's the name of the produce place up in California? Somebody's going to put it in the comment section below, but Salinas, California. That Loves up there, that is prison rules up there. People driving through the lot at like 40 miles an hour where everybody's trying to back. That was a place that sticks out to me in my mind. And then when I first got out on my own, the Colton cold storage Walmart place, that place kind of did the same thing. Yard dogs driving by all fast and everything. Truck drivers not worrying about what's going. I mean, at some point you're going to learn it. So my point is, if I kind of felt that way, and this well, I didn't feel like quitting, but this person's feel like quitting. I know there's probably other people out there that are potentially thinking about quitting, or maybe you're in training now and you don't know that you may be feeling this way in the future. It's all going to come to you. You know, this is truck driving. This is not like anything. This is not, as us older people say, this isn't rocket science. You're going to get this down. You just need repetition to do it. So if you have time on your clock, waste 10 minutes on your clock going to a truck stop and backing in during the middle of the day. You know, if you're a place where you're doing a drop and hook, maybe you practice a couple times there, but do that, but don't quit. Anyway, I do appreciate you guys stopping by No Hippie Trucking and Transportation. As always, comment, subscribe, and I'm out.